Chapter 32. Blood and Soap. Jerry Geisler's phone rang on Good Friday, April 4th, 1958. Hollywood's most famous lawyer heard a familiar voice. "This is Lana Turner. Something terrible has happened. Could you please come to my house?" When Geisler arrived at the ex-Sweater Girls' colonial-style Beverly Hills mansion, Lana was in tears. Her daughter, Cheryl Crane, was near hysteria. Geisler then saw the cause, the object harshly jarring with the pretty pinkness of Lana's boudoir, the bloodied corpse of Johnny Stompanato, alias Johnny Valentine, former bodyguard of gangster Mickey Cohen, notorious gigolo, and Lana's latest lover. Shortly after his arrival in Hollywood, handsome cocksure Stompanato had been sought by certain prominent ladies in the film colony. His own prominent endowment had earned him the sobriquet Oscar after the foot-high Academy Award, if you get my drift. In the spring of 1957, enterprising Johnny, who had never met Lana, obtained her private number and called her up. He knew, as did all America, that she had recently been separated from ex-Tarzan, Lex Barker, and suspected she might be lonely and available. He suggested a blind date, mentioning the names of some mutual acquaintances and dropping a few hints about Oscar. At that time, he was operating a gift shop in Los Angeles. During the next 15 months, he paid little attention to that business. Lana did not discover until after his death that Johnny had been married 3 times and had a 10-year-old son. She did not know that he had solid connections with criminal elements, but Lana could not have cared less. Indeed, to have a real gangster for an escort with a rod under his dinner jacket added an extra thrill to the evening. Lana was particularly vulnerable emotionally at this point in her life. After a dazzling career which had gotten off to a bang with a big part in Warner's They Won't Forget in 1937, "What a pair of tits" was heard across the nation as schoolgirl Lana walked across the town square to be raped and murdered in the first reel of this epic. The rest of the film was an anticlimax. She went from strength to strength. In 1946, Lana Turner was one of the 10 biggest women money markets in the country, and by the early 50s was queen of MGM. She also went from ombre to ombre. Her romances, Sinatra, Howard Hughes, Tyrone Power, Fernando Lamas, had filled the columns for 2 decades. Her marriages had not really fulfilled her. Power was the only man she had really loved, and her possessiveness had ruined that affair. After bandleader Artie Shaw came Steve Crane. Lana was carrying Cheryl at the altar, then millionaire playboy Bob Topping. She had desperately wanted another child with her most recent husband, Lex Barker, but Lana miscarried. Following a run of bad films, after 18 years at the studio, MGM had dropped her. Her marriages and affairs had been dotted with violence, sometimes provoked or secretly desired. Lana had been thrown downstairs by one husband, slapped in public by another, drenched with champagne at Ciro's by a third. Once when she went out, her pretty face hidden behind dark glasses, it was to hide a black eye. She was quoted as saying, "I find men terribly exciting, and any girl who says she doesn't is an anemic old maid, a streetwalker, or a saint." After 30, this need for excitement became an obsession with Lana. During her separation from Johnny, as she was making the film Another Time and Another Place in England. The letters addressed to him showed the yearning of those happy aches he had knowingly inflicted. So she sent him a plane ticket, one of many gifts, and set him up in a big house in London on the Street of Millionaires. Johnny, certain of his power, became more and more demanding. "When I say hop, you'll hop. When I say jump, you'll jump." He also threatened to put his stamp on her. "I'll mutilate you. I'll hurt you so you'll be so repulsive you have to hide forever." At one point, Johnny came to the set and waved a pistol at Lana's co-star, Sean Connery, warning him to stay away from Lana. Connery decked him. The studio had a little help from Scotland Yard, and they had Stompanato ordered out of England. Yet Lana missed Johnny. Her letters begged for his caresses. "So fierce that they hurt me. It is beautiful, and yet it is terrible. I am yours, and I need you, my man." The picture finished, their SM-esque affair was resumed in Mexico, where guests in nearby rooms at the Hotel Villa Vera complained of their noisy lovemaking. Then the return of Hollywood, where Cheryl awaited them at the airport. Like many of the Dream Factory's offspring, the 14-year-old daughter of Lana and Steve Crane was a confused, disturbed teenager. And one night, in the big house on Bedford Drive, while Johnny abused Lana, she had refused to continue paying his gambling debts, threatened her with physical harm and swearing to revenge himself on her entire family. Cheryl listened at the door. "I'll cut you up and I'll get your mother and your daughter too. That's my business." Cheryl ran into the kitchen, according to her own and Lana's accounts, grabbed the first weapon she found, a 9-inch butcher knife, and rushed back to her mother's aid. Lana later testified, Everything happened so quick that I did not even see the knife in my daughter's hand. I thought she had hit him in the stomach with her fist. Mr. Stumpanato stumbled forward, turned around, and fell on his back. He choked, his hands on his throat. I ran to him and lifted up his sweater, and I saw blood. He made a horrible noise in his throat. Lana wept during this recital and almost fainted. She went on. I tried to breathe air into his semi-open lips, my mouth against his. Lana was near swooning. Geisler supported her. A bailiff brought her a glass of water. She finished in a strangled voice. He was dying. The press was unanimous. The most dramatic scene of Lana's career. The jury was only out 20 minutes. Their verdict, justifiable homicide. The press had a field day. Lana's romantic past was raked up for inspection. Her love letters, discovered at Johnny's home by his hoodlum friends, were furnished front page across the land. Lana was pilloried as a dissolute, unnatural mother by columnists, the clergy, sociologist, and psychoanalyst. Cheryl was defended here, condemned there. My heart bleeds for Cheryl, wrote Hedda Hopper. Walter Winchell was the only major columnist to take Lana's defense. She is made of rays of the sun, woven of blue eyes, honey-colored hair, and flowing curves. She is Lana Turner, goddess of the screen. But soon, the magical leaves and the shadows take over. All the hidden cruelties appear. She is lashed by vicious reporting, flogged by editorials, and threatened with being deprived of her child. And of course, it is outraged virtue which screams the loudest. It seems sadistic to me to subject Lana to any more torment. No punishment that could be imagined could hurt her more than the memory of this nightmarish event. She is condemned to live with this memory to the end of her days. In short, give your heart to the girl with the broken heart. Old Gloria Swanson was infuriated by Winchell's defense of Lana. She exploded. Walter, I think it is disgusting that you are trying to whitewash Lana. You are not a loyal American. You are washed up, and everybody knows it except you. As far as that poor Lana Turner is concerned, the only true thing you said is that she sleeps in a woolen nightgown. She is not even an actress. She is only a trollop. The publication of Lana's letters created a sensation. They had been given by Mickey Cohen to an editor of the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner as revenge on Lana. Cohen, Johnny's ex-boss and boyfriend, had been stuck for his funeral expenses. The 12 letters, somewhat censored, occupied the nation's front pages for 2 days. As printed, they seemed less the work of a scarlet woman than the outpourings of an emotionally immature older woman desperately in need of love. Even with their plethora of asterisks, it was the first time since the publication of Mary Astor's diary that the inside dirt of a movie star's love life had been shoveled at such length. Lana rode out the storm. In many theaters, when she first appeared on screen in Peyton Place, the audience applauded and shouted, "We're on your side, Lana." She went on to make a slick soap opera for producer Ross Hunter at Universal called Imitation of Life, directed by Douglas Sirk for Hunter, proved the biggest box office success of Lana's career. That is the end of that chapter.